In the small kitchen, Lily's dad was carefully cutting pieces of fruit. Meanwhile, Lily was still curled up in her warm blanket, deep in a sweet sleep.
Lily ơi, dậy sáng rồi Lily ơi.
Her dad gently peeked open the bedroom door. Seeing Lily sleeping soundly, he couldn't bear to wake her. He smiled softly and quietly turned back. Taking a small note, he carefully wrote a few instructions, then put on his coat and left for work. A long while later, when the sun was already quite high, Lily rubbed her eyes and woke up. "Dad?" she called out. Hearing no reply, Lily quickly ran to the living room to find him. But the house was very quiet, and then Lily discovered the note her dad had left on the table. She picked it up to look. It turned out her dad had told her to eat well at home. He had already gone to work. Lily understood immediately. She quickly lifted the food cover. A plate of delicious fresh grapes appeared before her eyes. It was the breakfast her dad had prepared for her. Lily happily nibbled on each sweet grape. After finishing her meal, her belly full, Lily comfortably leaned back in her familiar beanbag chair, starting a new day of her own. Lily rested for a moment, and a plan popped into her head. Aha! Dad must be in the garden. Without hesitation, she climbed onto her new car, both hands gripping the steering wheel. Superhero Lily began her adventure. The car zoomed out to the garden, where her dad was diligently working. From a distance, Lily saw her dad's familiar back, busy harvesting carrots. "Dad! Dad!" Lily drove straight toward him, her clear voice ringing out. Lily didn't just come to play. She had also thoughtfully brought a bottle of cool water for her dad. Her dad turned around, surprised and proud to see his little daughter driving her supercar out to visit him.
Ôi, mang nước cho ba hả? Hả? Ôi trời. Rồi, đi vào ghi mát mát để uống nha. Nắng quá. Đây ly này. Ba cái đào tôi ly khoai kìa. Ha, tới đây xem này. Nè. Ba cà rốt nè. Nắng quá ha. Ba cái đào cho đi khoai kìa. Nè. Không ngồi đây. Đây. Đó, đây. Được không? Được không? Mang về luộc nhé. Mang về luộc nhé. Được không? Tí nữa mang lên xe luộc nhé, dòng nước đó ha. Tí nữa làm mang nước ha.
The two of them sat and rested under the shade of a tree. Her dad drank the water, smiling at his little girl.
Con muốn uống không? Đây. Quả cái đi nhé. Được chưa? Nữa hả? Nặng quá ha. Ba có đào cho đi ít khoai kìa. Tí ra ba cho xem nhé.
Look, Lily, he said, pointing to the pile of carrots in the distance. We have a bumper crop today. After they had both drunk their fill,
Rồi, đi coi, đi. Đây, lấy cà rốt đi, lấy đi con. Đúng không?
her dad looked at Lily with sparkling eyes.
Nhiều quá ha.
My superhero, Lily.
Cầm giúp ba cái này
Can
nhé.
you help me transport these vegetables back to the house?
Đây nè.
Lily's
Đúng rồi,
eyes
dạ
lit
quá.
up. She nodded
Làm này ha.
decisively.
Đi nè.
This was her mission. Lily quickly helped her dad load the carrots onto her red car.
Đúng rồi. Lên xe đi con, lên xe đi.
Lily sat in the driver's seat, confidently driving a whole treasure home.
Đi được không? Ba đằng sau này. Nắng quá. Rồi.
Back in the yard, the mission wasn't over. Lily quickly ran into the house and brought out a large basket for her dad to put his harvest in.
Đây con. Đó. Được không? Đi nào. Chào bạn đi. Đây. Chào bạn đi nhé.
After everything was neatly organized, her dad looked at Lily with loving eyes. My daughter worked so hard today. Her dad went into the house and brought out a special reward for the hard-working superhero, a carton of cold milk.
Được chưa? Để ba giúp cho ha.
Lily happily accepted it, feeling strong and useful. It was a fun and meaningful day of work with her wonderful dad.
Giỏi lắm. Có mệt lắm không? Trời nắng quá ha.
That day began peacefully. Lily was sitting and playing by herself, feeling a little bored, when suddenly she heard a happy quack quack. Looking out toward the pond, Lily spotted two ducks swimming about cheerfully. Curious, Lily ran to the water's edge to get a better look. The pond water sparkled in the sun, and the two feathered friends looked so free. How wonderful, Lily thought to herself. If only I could jump in and swim with them. But then she suddenly remembered and quickly shook her head. I can't, Lily told herself. I just got over being sick, and Dad told me not to play in the water. Standing on the bank, watching for a moment, Lily tilted her head. The two ducks swam back and forth, occasionally dipping their heads under the water as if looking for something. Lily remembered that she hadn't seen her dad bring feed out for the ducks this morning. Oh, maybe Dad was busy and forgot to feed the ducks breakfast. A small sense of responsibility suddenly swelled up. Dad wasn't home. She had to take care of her friends in his place. Without hesitation, Lily turned and ran quickly to the shed, where her dad usually kept things. She stood on her tiptoes, searching the familiar corner where the bag of feed was usually kept. Nothing. Lily frantically searched on the bed, under the bed, turning everything over. But the bag of feed was nowhere to be found. I can't find it anywhere. Lily started to panic. She ran to the door, looking toward the pond, where the two ducks were still swimming around looking lost. "You poor things," she whispered. "You must be so hungry." She couldn't let her friends go hungry. Determined to complete her mission, Lily took a deep breath and started running. She ran across the yard, across the wide garden, her tiny feet moving quickly. "Dad! Dad!" Her clear voice rang out, trying to carry through the wind. After running a long distance, Lily finally saw her dad's familiar figure. He was busy gardening way in the distance. "Ah, there's Dad!" As if given new strength, Lily used all her energy to run to him, arriving breathless. She immediately grabbed her dad's pants, tugging hard. "Dad, hurry!"
Cái gì Ly? Hả?
Her dad was surprised, not understanding what was happening. But seeing the serious look on his little daughter's face and her urgent actions, he knew it must be something important. He quickly let Lily pull him along. Lily didn't say a word, just focused on pulling her dad back toward the pond. When they arrived, she pointed toward the two ducks. Only then did her dad say, "Ah, understanding the problem." He smiled gently, patting his responsible daughter's head. "Ah, I'm sorry. We ran out of feed this morning, and I haven't had time to buy more." "It's okay. Dad has another way." He smiled, taking Lily's hand and leading her to a nearby banana stalk. "Ducks also love to eat young banana stalks, honey." With that, he used a knife to chop off a piece of the tender young stalk. Lily quickly ran to get the feeding trough, then helped her dad place the banana stalk inside. Then, her dad carefully used the knife to slice the stalk into thin white pieces.
Lily lấy đi. Đi bỏ kia đi. Lấy cái này này. Lily, lấy cái đây này. Bỏ cái đây này. Đúng rồi, bỏ xuống. Giỏi lắm. Đây Lily. Bỏ đây ha. Bỏ kia đi con. Bỏ đây nhé. Đúng rồi. Bỏ đây ha. Đó, mình bóp ra tí nha cho nó dễ ăn ha. Đây nó đi này, đây này. Đó. Đó, thấy chưa? Bỏ đây ha.
Seeing Lily watching intently, he offered the knife to her. "Want to try? Be careful." Under her dad's close supervision, Lily also managed to slice a few pieces. She felt very grown up.
Đó. Đúng rồi. Tay vào đây con, tay vào đây nè. Đúng rồi, tay đây nè. Đó. Đây yên nha. Đúng rồi, có cái này ra ha. Đây này. Đúng rồi. Đúng rồi. Đúng rồi Ly. Giỏi quá. Đó.
After a moment, the trough was full of the special meal. Dad and daughter carried the trough to the pond's edge together. Smelling the food, the two ducks immediately swam quickly to the bank. They buried their heads in the trough and began to eat heartily. Lily stood beside her dad, watching quietly. Seeing the two ducks eat their fill, her heart flooded with joy and pride. Her dad turned and gave his hard-working employee a snack as a reward. The sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the now empty schoolyard. On the steps by the gate, a small figure sat waiting patiently. It was Lily, in her pretty clothes. Her big round eyes constantly looking out at the main road. Dad promised he would pick her up, but he hadn't arrived yet. Time passed very slowly. Every time a motorbike sped by, Lily would perk up hopefully, only to deflate in disappointment. Sadness began to creep in. She lowered her head, her tiny fingers clutching the hem of her clothes. Dad always kept his promises.
Chết rồi, hóa ra đón Ly rồi.
The waiting gradually turned into worry. She started to feel scared being all alone. A dreadful thought crossed her mind. What if Dad had abandoned her? Meanwhile, on another road, her dad was sweating. His motorbike lay immobile on the side of the road. He hurriedly fumbled with it, trying desperately to fix it.
Xe mất rồi. Sao vậy? Trời, đang vội đấy chứ.
Looking at his watch, he felt sick with worry. The image of his little daughter waiting anxiously vivid in his mind. Then another, even greater fear struck. Or what if something bad had happened to Dad on the way? Her eyes began to well up with tears. He couldn't be any later. He abandoned the broken motorbike, quickly borrowed a bicycle, and pedaled toward the school with all his might. From a distance, Lily saw a figure hunched over a bicycle. She squinted,
Lily.
and then she recognized him. It was Dad. But he wasn't on his motorbike. He arrived, tired and panting, on an unfamiliar bicycle. As soon as he stopped the bike, he immediately held out his hands, his face full of guilt. He pointed to the bicycle, trying to gesture what had happened. But the fear and loneliness that had been building up for so long suddenly burst. Lily had been so scared. Her hurt feelings turned into a sulk. She pouted and turned her face away, taking angry steps forward, refusing to look at her dad. Her dad hurriedly pushed the rattling bicycle, following her. He walked patiently beside his little daughter, his face still full of remorse. Lily walked on, intentionally ignoring him. But in her heart, she knew he was right behind her.
Ly, chào ba tí. Sao đây? Thôi đừng có giận ba nhá, con xin lỗi nha.
Seeing his daughter still wasn't appeased, her dad stopped.
Ba xin lỗi nha, được không? Xin lỗi nha. Thôi về ba nấu món ngon cho Ly ăn nhá. Nha, được không? Ha. Ba về ba nấu bí ngon cho
He
Ly.
gestured, using both hands to mimic the act of cooking, then pointed at Lily, smiling warmly. It was a silent promise of a delicious dinner to make up for it. That promise touched her heart. The sulking melted away. She nodded slightly, accepting his apology. Her dad smiled in relief. He bent down and opened his arms wide. Lily rushed into her dad's arms, a tight hug that chased away all the worry. Afterward, she climbed onto the bicycle. On the borrowed bicycle, the two of them rode home, slowly and peacefully.
Trả xe nhá. Được chưa? Xe đây ha. Rồi, vào đi đây nè. Đi này. Ăn nhá, vào nấu đi ăn nhá. Nấu đi ăn nhá. Nấu gì ngon ăn nhá.
Morning sunlight danced playfully through the window, casting golden stripes across the living room floor. The air was peaceful and warm. In this space, Lily, a mischievous little monkey, was holding her glass of white milk, her eyes half closed as she savored the sweet taste. Opposite her, her dad was leisurely sipping a cup of steaming black coffee. The distinct, gentle bitterness of the coffee filled the morning air. Finishing the last drop of milk, Lily slid contentedly off her chair. She toddled over and snuggled into her dad's lap. He smiled, wrapping one arm around his little daughter, his other hand still holding a thick picture book. Lily pointed excitedly at a picture, but just as she was about to speak, her dad suddenly winced, his other hand quickly moving to his stomach. Oh, he groaned softly.
Không được uống nha. Được chưa? Ngoan. Ngoan nào.
Before leaving, he pointed seriously at the nearly full coffee cup on the table. Lily, he instructed firmly, this is coffee for grown-ups. You absolutely must not try it. She watched her dad's back disappear. A minute passed, then 5. The smell of coffee still lingered around her nose. What does it taste like that makes Dad like it so much every morning? Lily wondered. Why does he like this dark, dark liquid? Her eyes kept glancing toward the brown glass cup on the table. A war began in her little heart. On one side, her promise to her dad. On the other, an uncontrollable curiosity. Unable to stand it any longer, Lily cautiously stood up. She tiptoed, stepping lightly as a cat toward the table. She craned her neck, straining her ears to listen for any sound from downstairs. Dead silent. Dad wasn't back yet. picked up the small silver spoon next to the cup. Trembling, she scooped up a tiny bit of the dark liquid. She brought it to her lips. She told herself and decided to try another bigger spoonful. This time, as she pulled the spoon out, startled by the bitterness, her trembling hand knocked hard against the side of the cup. Crash! The heavy glass cup tilted and whoosh! All the dark, swirling coffee spilled out onto the glass table. Lily froze, stunned for a few seconds. The coffee cup was now empty, lying on its side in a dark black puddle. Her face went pale. Panicked, she quickly set the cup upright, then scrambled to the kitchen and grabbed a cleaning cloth. She returned and began to scrub. Wiping the glass table over and over, her breath coming in short, frightened gasps. Thankfully, after a moment of hard work, the table was sparkling again. But, oh no, her dad's book! Lily was horrified. Using all her strength, she awkwardly carried the heavy book out to the porch. She placed it on a wooden chair, hoping the warm sun would dry it out quickly. Rushing back inside, Lily stood panting, her heart still racing. Lily ran to the refrigerator, pulled the door open, and grabbed a cold can of Coca-Cola. This color? It's dark like coffee. She carefully poured the Coca-Cola into the very same cup, trying to fill it to the exact same level as before. The hissing of the carbonation faded, leaving behind a dark brown liquid that looked just like the original coffee. Finished, Lily ran to hide the empty can, then dashed back to the sofa. She sat down and pretended as if nothing had happened. Just then, the sound of her dad's footsteps approached. He walked in, smiling when he saw his daughter still sitting quietly. He gently stroked Lily's head.
Lát thử
He
đi sau
glanced
nha.
at the table, saw the coffee
Ủa,
cup
sao
was
cà phê
still
lại
full,
kìa?
picked it up, and took a large, relaxed sip.
Cà phê thì bị coca hả Lý? Ừ? Sao đấy?
Immediately,
Coca
he
ấy.
froze. A sharp
Lily,
sweetness and
có pha gì
cold
đây không vậy?
fizz shot up his nose instead of
Mùi
the
ngộ quá à?
familiar hot bitterness. He stared at the cup, which was now fizzing slightly, and then looked
Mày làm gì
over at
đó?
Lily.
Ừ.
He called her name very softly. Lily flinched.
Cái
She
gì lạ quá đi
slowly,
à?
very
Lily,
slowly,
lạ lắm nha. Ủa? Có sách ba
lifted
đâu
her
đi?
head,
Ừ?
not
Sách ba
daring
đâu?
to look directly into her
Đâu rồi?
dad's eyes.
Hả?
His gaze swept from the table, then out to the
Sách ba đâu đi?
porch,
Ừ?
where his book was lying in
Hả?
the sun.
Con bỏ đâu rồi?
He understood everything. The next day arrived, bringing with it a reality Lily did not want. Her dad had to go away on a business trip for a few days.
Đồ hả? Nha.
Lily lay curled up in bed, her wide round eyes fixed on her dad's back.
Ngồi dậy rồi con. Ừ? Có nghỉ đi chưa? Ừ? Đi ở nhà ngoan ha. Mẹ bảo đi làm nhé.
The sound of the suitcase zipper in the quiet room felt so dreary. He was carefully folding each shirt and pair of pants, arranging them neatly. With every item placed inside, Lily's little heart seemed to sink a little lower.
Thì ba kêu gì đến đón nhé. Chơi phải không? Ba kêu gì đến chơi với con nhé, được chưa? Ừ. Đi ở nhà ngoan ha.
The suitcase looked like a hungry monster, about to swallow her dad whole.
Mình ở nhà ngoan chứ, đúng không? Lớn rồi mà. Nhỉ? Ba về ba mua quà cho Ly ha. Nha. Được không? Về mua quà cho Ly ha. Hay bây giờ con ở đây đi. Ở đây rồi ba ra ba làm đồ ăn cho con nhé. Con ở đây. Con ngồi đây chơi ha. Ba làm đồ ăn cho Ly nhé.
When the suitcase was full, he zipped it up and patted it lightly. I'm going to the kitchen to make you something to eat, he said, but Lily only remained silent. The moment her dad's footsteps faded down the hall, Lily sprang up. The sad silence vanished, replaced by a determination that flashed in her cunning eyes. No, Dad can't go. A bold idea struck her. She leaped off the bed and ran to the suitcase. With all her little strength, she popped open the two latches, and then she started pulling things out. A dress shirt, a pair of trousers, socks. All the clothes her dad had just carefully packed were now pulled out, scattered all over the floor. Oh, hee! In just a moment, the room was in chaos.
Huh?
Hey! Oh, yay! Her work complete, Lily quickly scrambled back into bed, pulling the blanket all the way up to her chin. She squeezed her eyes shut, trying to breathe in weak little breaths. Her face wrinkled as if in great pain. Oh.
Ủa, sao nào đây con?
A moment later, her dad walked into the room and saw the trembling lump under the blanket. Lily, what's
Ba
wrong?
chuẩn bị đồ ăn rồi kìa. Sao đây?
He hurried over. He sat on the edge of the bed,
Mệt hả?
placing his
Xem
warm
nào.
hand on his little daughter's
Đâu có mệt gì
forehead.
đâu. Thấy bình thường
Lily
mà.
just whimpered in her throat,
Ba thấy bình
her
thường mà.
eyes still squeezed shut, her expression one of utter
bình thường mà.
exhaustion.
Khỏe mà ta? Mệt lắm hả? Mệt lắm hả? Trời ơi, cái điều bộ kìa, cái điều bộ nó mệt lắm hả? Hả? Mệt hả? Sao? Ủa? Mệt thiệt hả? Mệt thiệt hả? Thương quá hả? Sao không khỏe mà? Sao em mệt nhanh thế? Làm gì mệt nhanh như vậy? Mệt thật đúng không? Thôi được rồi, để ba lấy đồ ba la lau cho con nhé. Tôi chờ ba tí nhé, ba xem thử nha. Chứ ba thấy là bình thường á. Thôi rồi, làm đây chờ ba tí nhé.
Wait here a moment. Oh. Hey. He hurried out, then returned with a warm, damp cloth.
Ủa? Sao đóng cửa rồi? Trời này. Bà có làm nước nóng, khăn nóng cho con này.
He gently wiped Lily's face and hands. The warmth from the cloth felt so nice. He sat there quietly watching her, his eyes full of love and sorrow.
Đấy. Ai làm rồi về mà lo gì nhỉ? Thế nào?
All thoughts of the business trip, of the messy room, vanished instantly. All that was in his mind now was the image of his sick little girl.
Đấy, trời. Cái đồ ha. Đặt cái này khăn đây nhé. Ủa, sao vali mình đóng rồi? Ủa? Ly? Ủa, đồ của ba đâu? Đồ ba đâu? Sao? Con để đồ của ba đâu rồi? Hả? Để đồ của ba đâu rồi? Muốn ba đi làm hả? Muốn ba ở nhà với Ly à? Hả? Thương quá hả? Ôm ní nè. Trời, thương quá ha. Trời trời. Cái miệng, ô trời cái miệng kìa. Ôi thương quá. Cái miệng cái gì đây? Ôi trời. Sao? Ở nhà với Ly hả? Thôi được rồi, ba ở nhà với con nhé. Về nhà với con nhé. Nhưng mà đầu ba đâu? Đầu ba đâu rồi? Đầu ba đâu nào? Đâu rồi nhỉ? Rồi mình đâu rồi? Ủa? Ôi trời. Nè, em có lấy đồ nè. Trời ơi. Nè, ai để ý đây vậy? Hả? Để ở đây vậy sao được? Cất trong tủ cho ai chứ? Thôi được rồi, bạn nhà với Ly nhé. Con Ly ngoan ha. Thôi được rồi, để ba xin xếp rồi ba rời việc lại nhé. Ở nhà với con nhé. Được chưa? Rồi. Xin lỗi nhé. Ly ngoan ha. Để ta cất đồ đi nhé. Thôi được rồi, để ba nói chuyện nhé.
He sighed softly, then took out his phone. Lily peeked through her long eyelashes. She saw her dad talking to someone on the
Sếp ơi,
phone.
em có việc bận
Yes,
xíu ấy,
she
em
suddenly
thích
has
nghỉ
a
nhé.
fever. I can't leave right now.
Dạ.
Please ask
Hai
them
là
to
mùa ha.
postpone the meeting for me. Yes, I'll stay home and take care of her.
Ok sếp. Dạ. Cảm ơn sếp.
His voice hung up. The plan had
Được
worked.
rồi.
Lily felt an
Nhất ly đó
immense
nha.
wave of relief
Chưa?
wash over her,
Đi ra ăn ha.
but it was mixed with a small pang of guilt.
Rồi đi ăn nào, đi ăn thôi. Đi ăn thôi. Yeah, đi ăn thôi, yeah.
It's okay. Dad's not going anymore. I'll stay home with you.
Đi, ra đây
He
ăn ha.
scooped her up into his arms. Lily burrowed her head deep into his steady chest, inhaling his familiar scent. He carried her to the living room, carefully setting her down on a chair.
Đây.
He brought out a plate of steaming hot steamed pumpkin. The soft, sweet pumpkin melted in her mouth. Lily ate obediently, glancing up at her dad every so often.
Đây, đúng rồi. Giỏi lắm.
He wasn't going anywhere. She had kept her dad home in her own special way.
Đây, đừng tay bẩn nhé, đừng tay bẩn nhé. Cái này xuống đây. Tay để đây ha. Đúng rồi. Đây, cái này xuống ha. Đúng rồi. Đó. Đúng rồi. Giỏi.
Dad.
Ủa? Không, bạn đi đâu đi. Đây, qua đây đi. Ba ở nhà với Ly mà, không có đi đâu ha. Yên tâm, không có đi nhé. Thôi, ba ở nhà với con nhé. Ở nhà ăn đi. Thế bằng ở đây. Bằng ở đây con nhé. Bằng ở đây luôn. Ngon quá. Giỏi quá. Rồi bạn ngồi đây với Ly ha. Nhưng mà lần sau không được như thế nhá. Được chưa? Không được quăng đổ ba nhé. Như thế con. Con này là sai nhé. Ha. Đang hết đi. Đấy là bà dọn nhé. Ăn ngon. Này ngon quá. Ngon quá ha. Lo rồi. Nó giỏi chứ. Rồi vào đấy nè, vào đấy, vào đây. Rồi, rơi hết vào quần rồi. Rồi được rồi, bà Thư nhé. Nhé. Đi ngoan nhé. Nhưng lần sau đừng làm thế nữa nha Ly nhé. Được chưa? Thế nhé. Đi làm mới có tiền mua đồ chứ. Gì?
The afternoon sun had turned the color of honey, pouring through the window and bathing the small kitchen in golden light. After Lily recovered from her sickness, her dad decided the two of them would make her favorite baked sweet potato cakes. very important. Her job was to stir the batter. In a large bowl, her dad had already measured out flour, sugar, and a little egg yolk.
Đó. Mình để cái lòng đỏ thôi ha. Tại vì cái lòng đỏ nó mới nở bánh ha. Đó. Trộn lòng đỏ nhé. Thấy không? Thấy không? Thơm không? Thơm không? Được không? Được không? Thế có hả? Đây đây, cầm hả?
Lily grabbed the whisk, which was almost as big as her arm, and began to stir with all her might. Harder, sweetheart, her dad encouraged.
Ok chưa? Ok chưa? Ok chưa? Trộn đều nhá.
Lily pursed her lips, putting all her strength into her tiny arms.
Wow. Chưa?
On the counter, everything was ready.
Chờ một chút nữa nhỉ. Chờ một xíu nữa. Ăn ly, được không? Nè, nó cần đó.
Her dad had just lifted a basket of plump, golden sweet potatoes from the pot, still steaming.
Nóng lắm.
The steam rose in clouds, carrying a sweet, delicious smell. He used a fork to carefully mash each potato. A smooth, shiny, velvety, golden mash appeared.
Đấy, thật nóng lắm, nóng lắm. Để ba nghiền nhá, đúng rồi. Thấy chưa? Thấy chưa? Ba nhìn mịn nhá. Nóng lắm thấy chưa? Nè. Cầm hả? Muốn cầm hả? Đây. Rồi, để ba làm nhé.
When the bowl of mashed potatoes had cooled a bit, he poured it into Lily's bowl of batter. All right, now for the most fun part. Two pairs of hands, one large and strong, one tiny and nimble, work together to knead the dough. At first, the dough was sticky, but it gradually became soft, smooth and pliable.
Rồi, đưa cho bà cảm ơn. Đây, nhìn bà làm nhá.
After the dough was mixed, Dad and daughter shaped the cakes together.
Wow. Bà làm bánh ngon đi nhá. Ôi trời ơi, chờ đợi lâu quá hả? Thứ hai nha. Ly mở bếp cho ba đi, mở bếp đi. Mở đi. Đúng rồi, giỏi quá, cảm ơn Ly. Con bỏ cho nó đi.
When it came to the most important step, Lily carefully helped her dad place each cake into the oven.
Bỏ đây ha, bỏ đây nhá. Thấy không? Bỏ đây này, thấy không? Con bỏ đi, bỏ con kia đi. Ừ. Bỏ chân nhé, bỏ chân. Rồi, cái này là ba tét nha. Đó. Rồi, cái này mới bỏ đây ha. Rồi, đóng ra. Wow, đúng rồi. Giờ bác chỉnh nhiệt độ này. Lên 200 ha. Rồi, được rồi, bác chỉnh rồi. Ừ. Giỏi quá. Ở đây. Đây còn chờ này. Ừ. Ngồi chờ ha. Đấy, bây giờ mình chờ bánh ha. Ừ. Mình chờ. Ừ. Đấy. Rồi đi kìa.
Before long, an irresistible aroma began to spread. The smell of butter and milk mingled with the earthy sweetness of the baked sweet potatoes, filling every corner of the house. It was warm, sweet, and incredibly peaceful. Her dad carefully took the baking tray out. The cakes had puffed up, their edges a golden brown, releasing a fragrant steam.
Giờ đây. Bây giờ mình bỏ cái mới vào nhé. Rồi. Bỏ cái mới vào xong rồi mình đi ăn cái này nha. Đó. Thấy không? Được không? Đây ly này. Này, đi đây cho bạn nào. Đi ra đây con. Đi ra đây rồi. Mình đã đóng ha. Rồi, bây giờ mình đi ăn ha. Đi ăn nào.
He arranged the cakes on a plate and brought them to the living room, where the afternoon light was softening. Lily was already sitting there, her little legs swinging, her eyes glued to the plate. Lily took it, blew poof poof a few times, and then took a huge bite. The outside was slightly crisp, the inside soft and fluffy, with the clean sweetness of sweet potato and the rich flavor of butter. It was absolutely delicious. Lily closed her eyes in bliss, savoring it, her cheeks puffed out as she chewed. "So yummy, Dad!" she exclaimed, her mouth still full of cake. Her dad smiled, watching his daughter eat with such delight. He picked up a cake for himself, eating it slowly. That afternoon, the living room wasn't just filled with sunlight. It was filled with the smell of baked cakes, and above all, the taste of peace that comes from being together.
Khang hả đi. Bạn thử ly chê đi. Bạn này ngon. Đúng món ly thích ha.
Under the warm morning sunlight, Lily looked like an enthusiastic little farmer. She wore comfy shorts and a t-shirt, a wide-brimmed hat on her head, and carried a cute little basket. She quickly passed the eggplant row, where purple fruits were dangling, but her eyes didn't stop. They were aimed straight at the end of the garden. Lily's target was the apple tree. As soon as she reached the tree, in the blink of an eye, she had nimbly climbed the tree, as quick and flexible as a little squirrel. Lily's sharp eyes quickly found her targets. One hand held firmly onto a branch for support, while her other hand quickly reached out to pick the apples. thud. The ripe red apples kept falling onto the soft grass blanket below. Lily moved skillfully from one branch to another, not missing any delicious fruit within her reach. After a period of effective battle, when she saw there was a good amount of loot, Lily jumped lightly to the ground. She dusted off her hands, happily picked up the plumpest apple she had just picked, brought it to her mouth, and took a big bite. Lily sat right down at the base of the tree, savoring her reward, her eyes shining with ultimate pride and satisfaction. The sweet, refreshing taste of the apple spread, like a well-deserved prize for her hard work. After eating, Lily started gathering. She carefully picked up each apple and placed it in the basket. Soon, the basket was full and heavy. Lily put her hat back on, then used both hands to heave the heavy basket up, and joyfully walked out of the garden to go home. When she got home, Dad was already waiting,
Không muốn đi giặt với ba không? Ừ?
gently helping Lily take off her soiled
Đi giặt với ba
outfit.
không? Ui trời ơi, chặt dữ ha. Con cởi ra. Cởi áo ra. Ui trời ơi. Rồi, còn dơ này. Thấy không? Này. Đây đồ của con tự ôm đi, tự bê đi. Đi theo ba nào. Tim này nè. Đây đi ơi, cái này. Đây đi ơi.
Lily scampered after her dad into the bathroom.
Rồi. Ui trời. Đây cho này. Đây là chỉ để đi nhá, đi đây ngồi này. Đó. Đây. Đồ của mình đây nhá. Bỏ đây nhá. Mình ngâm nước này, đúng không? Đó, để con trà nhé. Nếu con không trà thì con đẩy ở đây được nhé, đây nhé.
Lily sat across from him, watching Dad without blinking, her smart eyes carefully remembering his every move.
Đây, ngồi xuống đây. Xuống đây. Xuống đây ngồi. Đấy, áo vào đây. Đấy, con giặt đi. Giặt đi.
Lily then actively grabbed her t-shirt and copied exactly what her dad was doing. She was very serious about it, trying to scrub the stains just the way her dad did.
Đúng rồi. Và đặt làm lần nữa nhé. Lần này thành lần nữa nhé. Lên ghế ngồi đi. Đây là gì? Đi nè. Thấy đẹp không? Đẹp không? Rồi, được rồi. Xuống đi con, xuống đi nào. Xuống đi phơi đồ nào. Này. Này, con đây thì con.
After Dad wrung both items dry, Lily quickly grabbed the basket of wet clothes and carried it out to the drying yard with him.
Đây ơi. Dạ. Rồi.
Her energy seemed endless. She ran straight to the swing set in the corner of the yard, a gift her dad had made himself. But instead of swinging, Lily used it like gym equipment. She climbed, flipped, and swung from the crossbar like a pro, showing off her amazing flexibility and quickness. Dad finished hanging the clothes and turned to see his daughter performing circus tricks. He laughed and shook his head. "All right, my little athlete, let's go inside." Hearing that, Lily leaped to the ground and ran after her dad. After hanging the clothes, Dad went to the kitchen to cook lunch. He opened the rice bin, but it was empty except for one small handful.
Nãy gạo đi ha.
He sighed and checked his old wallet.
Điền cho mấy gạo nhé.
There were only a few small bills inside, not enough to buy more rice.
Ủa, không đủ đâu. Thôi, mang đủ tiền mua gạo rồi. Ba còn mỗi 5.000 thôi Ly à.
A worried look crossed his
Không
face.
đủ đâu. Tôi đi ở nhà nhé. Giờ đi ở nhà học bài nhé. Ba đi làm rồi tiền mua đồ ăn nhé. Ha. Để tạm đây ha.
Lily, Dad said gently, "please stay here and study. I'm going to the garden to find vegetables to sell. We need money for rice." Lily looked up and saw the worry in his eyes, even though he tried to hide it. "Okay, Dad, be careful," she said.
Đi ở nhà nhé.
Dad put on his hat, grabbed a hoe, and walked silently to the garden. Lily tried to focus on her laptop lesson, but she kept thinking about her dad. Suddenly, a video of a street performer playing guitar popped up. An idea sparked. She looked at her small wooden guitar, a special gift from her dad. "I have to help Dad," she thought. Lily shut the laptop, grabbed her guitar, and put on her straw hat. She ran all the way to the small, busy market. Oh! She found a corner, placed her hat on the ground upside down, and took a deep breath. She began to play.
Hi.
But people just hurried past.
Dễ thương quá đây.
Her music was quiet and hesitant, lost in the noise of the market. This time, the music was not timid. It was strong and clear. The new energy made people stop and listen.
Hi. Hi.
The first coin landed in her hat
Thank
with a
you.
clink, then a second and a third. People smiled and put money in her hat. Soon her hat was full of small change. "Thank you," Lily whispered, her face red with happiness.
Thank you.
Wow, good job, amazing.
She gathered the money and ran to the general store.
Hi.
Vui gì đó Lily? Hôm nay cửa hàng tôi có cam ngọt lắm. Cậu ăn thử đi, ngọt lắm. Nếu chua tôi sẽ hoàn tiền cho. Cam ngọt lắm Lily. Cậu mua thử đi. Nếu chua tôi sẽ hoàn tiền lại cho bạn.
She used some of the money to buy some juicy oranges, the kind her dad loved but rarely bought. Holding the oranges, Lily ran straight to the garden. "Dad!" she called.
Ủa?
He looked up, surprised to see her.
Mang gì cho ai đây?
"Lily,
Ăn cho ba hả?
where did you get the money for
Hả?
this?"
Ăn cho ba hả? Ủa tiền của con ở đâu đây? Ở đâu có tiền này? Tiền này ở đâu?
Lily, still breathing hard, told him the whole story. The laptop idea, the failed first attempt, and her success with the new song.
Lily làm cái xí nữa nè. Lily giỏi quá nhỉ?
Dad
Đi ăn nhá,
listened,
đi ăn cam nhá.
speechless.
Có đây của con
He
nhé.
pulled
Đây
his
ba.
little girl into a tight
lên
hug.
đi. Cái đôi đó lại đi. Đó, cho mát nhá, đúng rồi. Thôi đi nào, đi đây ăn nào. Qua đây, đây. Này, qua đây ngồi nè. Đây, ngồi đây. Ngồi đây nhé. Ngồi đây. Bóc này cho Ly nhá. Đúng rồi. Này, đưa qua bỏ cái đàn cho Ly nhá. Rồi. Bỏ đây cho con nhá. Một cái đàn đẹp nhá.
Then he gently
Cái này đẹp quá
released
hả?
her and picked up
Có
an
cái này cho Ly ăn nhá.
orange. His rough hands
Ly
peeled
đỏ
it,
quá phải không?
and he handed the first slice to Lily.
Chờ xíu. Mình chờ xíu. Đây.
You eat this, he said. It's a reward for my great guitarist.
Tạm biệt nha.
Lily smiled, her eyes crinkling, and
ngon quá
took
vậy.
the slice. They sat together, eating the sweet, juicy orange. It was the most memorable lunch of their lives, a mix of sweetness, sweat, and happiness. The door creaked open. Lily, home from school in her uniform, scampered into the house.
Vào đây nha. Chưa? Đưa cặp đây.
As was her routine, she adeptly shrugged the heavy backpack off her shoulders. Dad smiled, took the backpack, and hung it neatly on the hook.
Vào tủ lạnh đi. Được chưa?
Immediately, Lily ran to the refrigerator, stood on her tiptoes to open the door, and took out a carton of fresh milk. Dad, pour me some milk. Dad gently took a glass, pouring the pure white milk for her.
Rồi.
Lily put a straw in and took a deep sip. While his little daughter was refueling, Dad quietly went downstairs to prepare a few things. Perhaps because she was so thirsty, Lily drank a bit too quickly. A white splash of milk spread across the wooden table. Lily startled. Oh no! But she didn't cry. She knew what to do.
Uh-oh.
Quick as a squirrel, Lily ran to get a cleaning cloth and diligently wiped the spill clean.
Uh-oh.
When she was done, she held the milk-soaked cloth and ran to find her dad.
Đi đâu đây?
Dad,
Đi
I
qua đây nào.
accidentally spilled the milk. Can you please wash this cloth for me? Lily happily returned to the living room. But just as she sat down, she felt something strange.
Uh-oh.
Achoo! And then achoo! Again. She was sneezing constantly. Perhaps the change in weather had given her a cold. Mindfully, Lily ran to the tissue box, pulled out a few, and wiped her own nose. When she was done, she even carefully threw the dirty tissues into the trash can before wandering into the bedroom. A sudden chill made her climb right onto the bed, seeking warmth from her beloved blanket and curling up into a small ball. A moment later, Dad finished washing the cloth. He came upstairs but didn't see his daughter. "Lily?" he called. There was no answer. He gently pushed open the bedroom door
Lily.
and saw a small lump of blanket shivering slightly.
Lily,
He walked over
sao vậy?
and softly lifted the blanket.
sao nằm đây?
Lily's face was flushed red,
Sao đây?
her eyes heavy-lidded and weary. The father's
vậy?
heart clenched. He
Ủa
was
à?
truly worried.
Vì sao đây?
Bố mà thôi nằm ngủ đi con. Bố nằm ngủ hả? Mệt hả? Không mệt hả?
"You have a fever," he whispered, rushing to find the thermometer.
Để ba xem nào. Ba xem 4 nào. Ba xem nào.
A beep sounded,
Trời ơi.
confirming his fear.
Ốm ở đấy nghe chưa? Nè, ốm rồi nè, thấy không? Thấy chưa? Đi nằm ngoan nhá. Nó nằm xuống đó, nằm xuống. Thôi nằm đi.
Dad hurried to get a cooling fever patch, gently
Ngoan nhé,
placing
bà
it
dán
on
cho
his
Lily nhé.
daughter's forehead.
Hạ sốt nha. Đây con nằm xuống đi, con nằm xuống. Đúng rồi. Đó. Rồi con nằm đây. Ngoan nhá. Cái này nó mau hết lắm, thấy chưa? Đây, uống thuốc. Sao đâu, uống thuốc nhé. Rồi con nằm xuống, con nằm xuống. Nằm xuống mà lấy đây. Nhé.
Then carefully measured a spoonful of cold and flu syrup.
Lily dậy đi này. Ba mua
There's
thuốc
a
ho
good
Lily.
girl, he soothed.
Lily uống đi,
Drink
uống
some
sữa thôi.
medicine so you can get better soon.
Ông thì sao vậy? Ốm à? Hai ba xem nào. Vì sao đấy? Sao mà mệt vậy? Sao mà nằm đây? Sao nằm đây Lily? Lily dậy đi nè. Ba mua thuốc ho cho Lily nè. Lily uống đi, uống một xíu thôi. Con ốm à? Ốm hả? Đâu ba xem nào. Lily dậy đi nè. Ba mua thuốc ho cho Lily nè. Sao được không? Siro mật ong đấy. Cái nào để ba xúc cho nhé. Đúng rồi. Mau khỏe chưa? Siro này nó không phải ho đấy. Ho cảm đấy. Đúng rồi, giỏi lắm. Đúng rồi. Đi giỏi lắm, đúng rồi. Được rồi ha. Nó làm đi nè, đây con làm xuống, làm xuống. Coi xem nào. Đúng rồi đấy. Rồi, con ngoan ha. Đúng rồi, đấy.
While Lily drifted off to sleep from exhaustion, Dad did not rest. He quietly went out to the garden, where the orange tree was heavy with fruit. He picked the juiciest oranges, brought them inside, and carefully squeezed a glass of fresh juice. He carried the glass into the room, gently helped Lily sit up, and said, "Drink some orange juice to get your strength back."
Ngon không? Ngồi dậy, ngồi dậy, ngồi dậy. Đúng rồi.
The light, sweet taste of the orange soothed Lily's raw throat.
Chậm thôi nhé. Ngon quá hả? Cái ca mà làm ngon quá hả? Hết chưa? Hết chưa? Rồi, đứa ba nè. Rồi, ngồi yên này, con ngồi yên nhá. Nè. Giỏi lắm, đúng rồi, đi giỏi lắm. Ngoan nhá. Đây đây, đây đây. Đúng rồi.
The next morning, sunlight streamed through the crack in the door. Lily woke up. The house was quiet. Dad had already gone out to the garden to work early. The fever had subsided, but her body still felt lethargic. Lily lay in bed for a moment, then mustered the strength to sit up. She slowly crawled over to the windowsill, sat there, and looked out at the garden. Under the sun, her dad's familiar back was diligently hoeing the earth. Seeing her dad working so hard, her heart swelled with a powerful love. Even though she was sick, she still wanted to lend a hand. With that thought, Lily took her small basket and with heavy steps, slowly walked out to where her dad was working.
Đi đâu Ly?
Dad was focused on the vegetable patch when he suddenly heard footsteps. He turned around and was startled.
Nhà nghỉ đi chứ.
Lily,
Nhà nằm ngủ
why
đi
are
chứ.
you out
Nó khỏe
here?
nha.
You're still
Đi về
sick.
đi về ba. Rồi ba kiếm gì cho Ly ăn nhá. Thấy chưa?
He swept his little girl up into his arms. My good girl, he said, his voice full of love.
Không ra ngoài ốm sao? Hả?
Your job right now is to rest. You can help Dad only after you're all better.
Ốm ở
He
nhà nằm
carried
nghỉ
Lily
chưa?
back into the house and gently laid her down.
Này, nằm đây, nằm xuống. Nằm đây. Rồi. Đây, sao nào? Nằm nghỉ đi. Chờ ba tí vào lấy thuốc cho uống nhá. Được không? Nhá. Chờ ba tí nhá. Thôi nằm đây nhá, để bà lấy thuốc cho Ly nhá. Được chưa? Chờ ba tí ha. Chờ ba tí. Chờ ba tí.
Dad checked her temperature again and gave her another dose of medicine.
Bình thường nhá. Chỉ ho là mệt thôi chưa? Thôi nằm nghỉ đi nhá. Chờ ba tí vào lấy thuốc nhá. Này, để thuốc đi con. Thêm ít nữa nhá. Nhá. Uống này nhanh khỏi nghe chưa? Ha. Thôi ngủ đi, đang ngủ đi, ngủ xíu đi ha. Đang ngủ xíu đi nhá. Đang ngủ xíu đi ha. Đang ngủ xíu đi, ba kiếm gì cho Ly ăn nhé, được không? Đang ngủ xíu đi con ha. Đây, ngoan đi ha.
You rest, okay? I'm just going out to the garden for a moment. I'll be right back. Lily obediently nodded. Dad went out to the garden again. This time, he didn't hoe the earth. He went straight to the tangerine tree. He picked a bunch of ripe, golden yellow tangerines and brought them back for his little princess. When Dad returned, Lily was feeling a bit better. She was sitting on the sofa waiting for him.
Rồi ba ký nhé. Ba lấy cái cam này đi này ha. Rồi đây ha. Trời ơi, sao đỡ mệt chưa? Con đỡ mệt chưa? Đỡ rồi hả? Ồ, thôi được rồi, ba lấy cam ly nhá. Nhá. Sao? Vẫn mệt à? Vẫn mệt à? Vẫn mệt à? Vẫn mệt à? Hả? Ho tí thôi nhỉ? Thôi được rồi. Đây, nó cam ly đây. Mới bắt này, thấy không? Ngồi yên nữa nhé.
Dad sat down beside her, holding a tangerine. His rough, calloused hands carefully peeled the skin, meticulously removed every strand of white pith, and then separated each sweet, juicy segment, handing them one by one to Lily.
Rồi, đây, ngồi đây ha.
Lily accepted them, eating with relish. The sweet taste of the tangerine melted in her mouth, and her heart melted from her father's gentle care. She knew that as long as Dad was here, she would be healthy again soon.
Đỡ mệt chưa? Chắc là đỡ mệt rồi đúng không?